Beautiful. Okay, I believe we are in record mode now. Just going to double check and see that. Yes, we are. Welcome to the celebration and wrap up call for this month's Transform Fear into Confidence Challenge. Today is Friday, May the 4th, and I'm actually doing this wrap up call a day earlier than I typically do because tomorrow is my baby girl's birthday, and I wanted to keep my day open with no commitments other than making sure that she just has an awesome day. So thanks, y'all, for joining me early, and I am recording this so that there can be a replay. So anybody who wasn't expecting this call to happen today will have this to refer back to. I'm also notorious for whenever I do these recaps. Hey, Sue, welcome to the line, sweetie. We're just getting started.
Okey-dokey.
I'm going to mute you out, babe. And if you have any questions while I'm talking, just use the chat feature. And otherwise, I'll open up the lines when I get to the Q&A part. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Welcome. Okay, so I'm notorious whenever I do these recaps of dropping in a lot of information that didn't get into the challenge itself. And that happens for a number of reasons, but just be prepared. There's going to probably be a few things that I touch on that will expand your understanding and your ability to integrate the information that I brought to you. So hopefully it'll just be an enhancement, but if I stir up anything or get you started on some other lines of thinking, I'll open it up for a Q&A portion once I do a little recap of what's been going on. So, of the challenge, of course. So I love this challenge so much. And one of the things that I love about this challenge is that it was just an inspired idea that I had when I first started the Consciouspreneur Club. I mean, really, who reverse engineers action? I don't know, but the idea came to me and it was really neat how it all unfolded and the way that the pieces fit together and then the power that this challenge has on the people who participate in it. I get to witness that month after month after month. And I just really saw the impact that it had. So I said, you know what, I'm going to run this every single month. And if we hit a point where we need to switch things up, we will. But for now, with new people coming in on a regular basis in the group, I just think it's a great way for people to get plugged into what the vibe is and the culture is that I look to bring forward to this Consciouspreneur Club. And action is one of those things. It's just one of those things that you're either doing it or you're not, and it either feels amazing or it doesn't. But the more that we can get into a flow where we're at peace and we feel good, no matter if we are or are not taking action, it's really an empowering place to be within your own self, within your own life, and definitely within your own business. And for us conscious entrepreneurs, we're not necessarily driven by the same motivations as entrepreneurs that came before us or some of the other entrepreneurs in the world that are just trying to get their widgets out into the world, make a big profit, and not really think about the impact that they have beyond that. But we like to make a big impact. And with that, we want to feel good doing it. So figuring out a way to make your business work that feels amazing to you, to me, it was just a total game changer. It kind of took me, well, it didn't kind of take me, it literally took me from having these ideas and wanting to take action into just effortlessly taking action. And now I've found like such a groove and such a rhythm that I'm able to take action without even thinking twice about it. And I'm able to get a lot more action done in smaller amounts of time. So I can continue to move out of that kind of hustle mindset and continue to settle into activating and utilizing all the resources and power that's available within us and around us. And the more that I settle into it, the more it all just makes sense. And the more that I settle into it, the more palpable it becomes to me. So the easier it is for me to share it with you and to help you to integrate this into your life as well. So that's what this challenge is really all about, is to get the ball rolling, to get you into action, and to get you to understand what it is that's holding you back so that you won't continue to think that there's just something wrong with you, that you're the problem, that you're lazy, or you procrastinate too much, or you just don't know what to do, or you just weren't cut out to be a business owner. All those things are just mistruths. They're not at all true. If you have the desire in your heart to get your work out there into the world, then that came to you for a reason. And it's not just chance and circumstance, and it's not just a coincidence. It's what you came here to do. And when you can't find that groove because there's not a lot of examples of it out there in the world, it can just get really frustrating. So there's a new model coming forward in business. I'm not the only one who does this. I learned this from other people and interwove it and integrated it with everything else that I had already, kind of put into my spiritual wheelhouse. And I really believe that this approach to business is going to be the wave of the future. It is going to be, at least for a big portion of the type of services that are getting out there in the world, this age of technology and our ability to work with so many people in so many various different ways. So I'm going to ask you guys to hold on just real quick. Okay. Did you know that I have a kiddie pool set up outside? Is that what you're talking about there, Sue? Oh, you're seeing it in the background. Cool. Okay. So thank you for just taking that pause with me for a minute. So this challenge it's near and dear to my heart. I think it's amazing. You can take any one of these videos, you can just commit to it, and you can watch them over and over again until you feel like you fully integrated the concept, and they just stack right on top of each other. And that's my intention for this wrap-up call today, to give you just a brief little overview so you've got one concise video to check back in to kind of get all of it in a nutshell. And also, again, you're going to get just some added little bonus stuff that comes through me as I'm sharing this information live and on the spot in this recap. So let's go through the whole challenge. Okay. As you know, taking on this challenge, I reverse engineered action, and I found at the very, 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 very core of it is self-love. And self-love is really, it is so vital and so important that I've actually just shifted out of teaching business strategy and into teaching self-love. It is that important. And if you're somebody who's been stumbling trying to integrate business strategy, or continually out there searching for the right business strategy for you, I'm going to give you this little gift to say, start with self-love first, because with that solid foundation of self-love, and day one of this challenge invites you to take on an actionable and practical application of daily self-love. So I think that your efforts would be well better spent in that department than trying to take on new business strategies. And especially if you have business strategies that you know you need to implement, but you're not implementing them, then you got to keep working it back till you get to that core self-love, because that's where it all begins. So I invited you on that first day to commit, just right there on the spot, that you're going to follow through on this challenge. Just go ahead and declare that from this moment moving forward, you're somebody who follows through. It's just simply who you are. And at each moment, you have the choice to decide, and you can choose to follow through and do it as an act, as a demonstration of your self-love. And when we can shift everything from, oh, I got to do this in order to get that, and we can really anchor into our self-love and say, as an act of love, as a demonstration of my self-love, to honor the inner guidance and that inner voice that's nudging me to take action, I'm going to do it. And this all goes back to my fundamental principle of partnering with yourself, learning how to become your own best partner. And this is your own best partner in life, but definitely your own best partner in business. And I gave a really great example of, if you were partner with someone that every day that you showed up to work, all they did was point out all of your shortcomings, all the errors that you made, all the ways that you're not showing up and not completing what it is that you said that you're going to do, it's going to be very challenging for you to be inspired and motivated and in the right energy to help that person succeed. It's going to be very challenging. And when you, as a solo entrepreneur, are showing up in your office and you're just lamenting everything that you didn't get done or all the ways that you've missed the mark, you're going to have that same experience within you. And you're going to have that same push-pull happening. And you're going to know it by taking a look at your life. So if you feel like life is constantly kind of like giving you a little bit and then taking some back and then giving you a little bit and taking some back, look to see how you are interacting with yourself, because chances are that's exactly what's going on inside of you. You know, especially as conscious entrepreneurs, we're not money motivated, but we need money in order to do what it is that we feel called to do. And a lot of times we end up chasing that money, and we have that same push-pull relationship with money because it all comes back to your ability to receive. And your ability to receive starts with your ability to receive from yourself. And the best way to get that ball rolling that I found is just with a daily, I love you. We say it to all of our other loved ones. We tell our children, we tell our parents, we tell our friends, we tell our family members. When we see them, we feel that feeling inside of us and we're moved to say those words. And I challenge you to get to a place where you can give that to yourself as well. And I gave you a few different ways to look at it. If you're not really feeling that same loving connection that you do whenever you tell your daughter, I love you, then imagine you're telling your daughter, I love you, and sink into that energy until you can feel that connectedness with yourself. And I'm not sure if I said this on the video or not, but sometimes before we can even get into the I love yous, we might need to throw in a few I'm sorry's and thank yous and I forgive yous. And sometimes starting with the forgive yous and the thank yous and the I'm sorry's, it can really help to clear out and pave the way to allow those I love yous to really be received. Because it's kind of like the same thing. If you've been kind of jerking somebody around for, I don't know, a few decades, and then all of a sudden you show up one day and you're like, you know what, I love you. What do you think they're going to be like? Yeah, right. I could tell that by the way you treated me like crap yesterday, right? So you might need to kind of build that relationship and build that clear that pathway so that you can receive your own love. And this does kind of buck up against society's conditioning, because self-love in society is very often confused with narcissism or egotism or arrogance. That's not what this is. And if you're concerned about that, just take that as a sign that you are not that. Because people who are truly, truly that, they're not stopping to think, wait a minute, is this narcissistic? No, they're just doing it. They're not thinking about it at all. They're not thinking beyond themselves. The fact that you do, that's remarkable. It's remarkable. And it's very much evidence that you're not that way. And anybody who takes you that way, it's usually more their stuff, but it does definitely give you an opportunity to say, I respectfully disagree. I happen to think that I'm pretty awesome, and I think it's very healthy for me to think that I'm awesome, because the more in touch I am with my own awesomeness, the more easy it is for me to pull it out of other people. So thanks for your opinion. I'm doing all right. Or whatever it is that, feels right to you to say. And a lot of times that's what happens. I kind of said that in the, well, if I didn't say it in the challenge, you've definitely heard me say it in the group. When you make a strong declaration, you're going to be given the opportunity to see that through. And what that means is that anything that you need to rid yourself of, you need to let go of in order to have that thing that you desire. Whatever's holding you back from having that thing, it has to break loose in your life. And if one of the things that's holding you back is your overwhelming concern for how others are going to perceive you, this is just a great opportunity to be able to face that. So know that if you have a challenge around how other people see you, then as you start to take steps forward, you're going to be given the opportunity to have people misperceive you and love yourself anyway. And we think, oh, here we go again. People are misperceiving me again. I must be doing something wrong again. No, life is giving you that opportunity again to give you a chance to go through it again, but loving yourself. And until you do that, life's going to say, let's go around again. Let's go around again. You're still missing the most important piece of this puzzle. And that's that you're amazing. And you need to stay connected to it regardless of what other people think. Which again, is why I made this confidence challenge, because it's to help you move past what other people think and to get really connected with what it is that you desire and how to bring that forward. So with those I love yous, take that time to give yourself your undivided attention, not just spacing out watching TV with yourself, or even, going out and going for a walk and thinking about all your other stuff. Go for a walk thinking about you, connecting to you. Sit down and watch TV and enjoy how you enjoy the television show, and have that internal and external kind of dialogue going on, and enjoy it presently with you. I do this when I drive down the road. It's like, no, I'm not driving down the road by myself in the car. I got somebody awesome in the car with me. So just being present to my own presence, being aware to my own presence, it's a game changer. And this might sound like simple stuff, and it's definitely easy to skip over and bypass and get to like the goods of business strategy. But this is the stuff that lies underneath the surface that lets people be successful with business strategy. And then we're left to just judge and interpret what we physically saw them do, or the people who, once they hit a level of success, take a step back and it's like, well, what actions did I take? I did A, B, C, D. But they did all that on this unshakable foundation, or at least a pretty strong foundation of some level of self-love and self-connectedness. And if not, they're going to hit a point of their success where it all comes crumbling down, because life's always going to give you an opportunity to bring yourself along. And that's why a lot of us have the struggles that we have, especially as conscious entrepreneurs. We've done a lot of conscious growth. We have to allow ourselves to catch up with ourselves. That conscious thinking has to sink down to our subconscious core. And in the meantime, we have to start to slow down and be in stillness with ourselves so that we can quite literally catch up with ourselves, so that what we believe can begin to be how we act and what we see from the world. So if you're believing something, but life's like showing you something totally different, it's usually a really good sign that it's time to catch up with yourself. You're leaving yourself behind, and your internal self will only cooperate and go along for the game and go along for the ride if it knows you're not going to leave it behind. It's not going to help you get some other shiny object that's just going to take your attention more off yourself. It's not. I mean, it makes sense whenever we think about it. Like if you were a separate person from yourself that was under your charge, that you were in charge of taking care of and making sure that their needs were met, you would physically have to interact with them on a regular basis in order to make sure that everything was okay. So why are we not doing this just because that other entity happens to be housed inside of our flesh, right? So we have to think about this, and we have to treat ourselves that same way. And that's why I think a lot of us are kind of having wonky relationships or wonky interactions with people in our day-to-day life, or, you know, just turn on the news if you're so bold to do that, and you see all this craziness happening in the world. And I say it's an outward acting of how most people feel about themselves internally. And when you don't care about yourself, you're not going to care about somebody else. And when you're out there trying to care about other people to kind of get some sense that you have some kind of worthiness or value, or that you actually do have a purpose or can make a difference, it's going to be this ongoing outward searching that's going to end up filling a hole that can only be filled by you relaxing into you. So we can go on with the rest of the days, but they're really only going to be so effective as to the degree that you have this self-love piece down. So pay attention to how you're talking to yourself. Understand your intuition. Understand that if it's not for your growth, if it's more about shrinking, then that's just the part of you that has to be kind of flipped around so that you can better understand what it is that your intuition is telling you. Hope this is all making sense. So day 2, we got to follow through. And follow through is a side effect of self-love. I spent years kind of metaphorically catapulting myself into action and into follow through. And when I found out that it all comes down to self-love, that follow through is just a natural side effect of self-love, then I was like, well, no wonder I kept tripping over this follow through. No wonder all those to-do lists never got done. I'm actually going to do a special training. I don't know if it's next week or when, but I've got a calling to do a special training for the secret to why your to-do list is never done. And I'm going to break the news to everybody why that to-do list never gets done. But that lack of follow through, or that, again, push-pull kind of relationship with follow through on some things, not on others, it all comes back down to that foundation of self-love. Get that solid foundation of self-love, then follow through as a natural side effect. And follow through is about creating that energetic space and the physical space to receive. And if your energy field or your physical environment is full of unfinished tasks, what that signals out to the universe is, whoa, I got a lot of stuff I hadn't finished here. So I'm not really ready for more, no matter how much you want it. And no matter how much you want that more to come in, so you don't even have to worry about all those unfinished tasks. It's just not going to happen that way. So in that waiting period, while you're waiting for what you want to show up, while you're waiting to get those clients, the best thing that you can do is start to finish your unfinished business. So file those papers, send those emails, catch up on your data entry, take that stuff to the donation store that needs to go to the donation store, change the light bulb, fix that loose doorknob, whatever it is that is being left undone in your life, get that taken care of. It says, check, I'm good. This is done, got room for more. And what's really cool about this too is that, again, there's the physical space that like unfiled papers can take up on your desk, right? There's physical space that it takes up. But it doesn't just take up physical space, because even when you're not in your office, you still have a portion of your mind in your energy field that knows that those papers need to be filed. So even if filing those papers doesn't necessarily mean you turn around and have income come in, because this isn't a job, you don't get paid for your time, right? It's a different kind of energy exchange that's happening. So you're not going to get paid necessarily to file those papers, but I dare say you're going to get paid to file those papers, because you're clearing out that energy space, you're clearing out that physical space, you're putting into order, you're basically demonstrating your self-love, and you are honoring the gift that your calling is by just being a good steward of it. And we have to clear the space. We have to make room for it. And when you really stop to think about it, just like I said on the training video, when you're on the other side, when you've made it, when you've got that thriving practice, when you've got that fully booked schedule, this is the shit you're going to be doing anyway. So just do it now. Build the habit now. If you can't get excited about filing papers after, one client, why should life send you 100 clients? You're not going to be thrilled about filing 100 papers. And what if your resistance to that follow through is what's stopping more from coming? It's kind of a no-brainer to me. And I kind of look at it as a win-win situation. So worst case scenario, those unfiled papers have nothing to do with your receiving or lack of receiving. But if you file them, guess what? They're done. So regardless, you're going to win. It just really is a winning kind of thing. And it also builds your self-trust, which is where day 3 brought us. Day 3 brought us to self-trust. And self-trust is where the creation process comes in, because we will not get into creating if we do not trust ourselves to make that first move. So if you ever feel yourself stuck in the creation process, to go back to self-trust. And I gave you a couple of games that you can play, to kind of get that ball rolling. And I'll touch on those too. But really understanding and being able to nail down, who is it that you serve? What is it that they want most? And how do you help them get there? This is such a key part to the creation process, and you will never be able to identify who is it that you really want to serve, what is it that they want most, and how do you help them get there if you can't trust yourself to come up with these answers. And these are the type of answers that nobody can give you, not even the best coach in the world. You hire me, I'm an amazing coach. And the best thing that I can do for you is to say, which one feels right to you? Because these are the answers that nobody can give you. And anybody who says that they can give you, they might be able to give you some processes to help you to narrow it down, and I can do that as well. But again, that final choice and to be able to nail it down and to speak to that one audience is never going to happen if you don't trust yourself to make that right pick. And it's so important to make that pick and to get the ball rolling so that you can see where you need to course correct, where you can see a little bit more clarity. It took me choosing mompreneurs as my focus to eventually lead me to conscious entrepreneurs. But I would have never picked conscious entrepreneurs to begin with, even though years back I did a training and had one of the most show-ups ever when I did something to conscious entrepreneurs. Hello, Clue. But I totally overlooked that because my mind, I don't know, it just didn't go there on its own naturally. So we have to get that ball rolling so that we can begin the clarification process. But if we don't trust ourselves, we won't even give that ball a push to get it out there. And niching down is one of those things, finding that target audience is one of those things that for a long time, I just really thought, especially starting out as a massage therapist. I just said this to somebody yesterday, to one of our club members yesterday. I said, when I first started as a massage therapist, marketing to women who have shoulder problems, that didn't appeal to me at all, because I can help any gender, any age, with any muscles, any area of the body. I can work on all of it. So why would I market to women with shoulder problems? But now I understand the difference. Marketing to a specific audience doesn't mean you only serve that specific audience. It just means it gives cohesion and clarity with your messaging so that people can more easily find you. So people can know that you are talking to them. Because if you're saying, I can help everybody with anything, they're going to be like, wow, you're awesome. And they're not going to call you and they're not going to refer to you because they're going to be confused. People want to know. I specifically work with conscious entrepreneurs who feel stuck in their mission because of their fear and self-doubt. And I help them to get the confidence and the alignment needed to be able to take effortless action that feels amazing so that they can move their mission forward. You know perfectly well who I work with, who to refer to me, and if you are or are not a good fit. And what's beautiful about this is it allows us the selection process to be self-selecting versus you trying to see who's going to be the right fit for you or knowing who to go to. Who wants to knock on 100 doors when you can put out one message and have 50 people come to you? I'd rather do it that way. But it's not going to happen if you're trying to talk to everybody, and you're not ever going to narrow it down to just one person or to one audience if you can't trust yourself. So this is the reason why people aren't finding you. This really helps them to find you. And the people, your ideal client, they aren't people that are sitting at home watching TV and not trying to change their life. They're already out there looking for the solutions. That's your ideal person, somebody who is looking for the remedy that you offer. But people don't know what they need. People know what they want. And if you are always talking about how you help people with the need that you help them with, and they don't know that that's what they really need, it's kind of like self-love. If I do everything, I teach people self-love, and that's all that I said, people be like, okay, cool. I got to help them connect to how self-love helps them with follow-through. If I said I help people stop procrastinating, bam, totally different feel. Totally different feel, because people don't know that they need self-love, but they really want to follow through, and they want to stop feeling like they're lazy. They want to stop procrastinating. So, so people are already looking for it. So if somebody's out there looking to try to stop procrastinating, they're not going to be searching for, how do I find somebody to help me with self-love? They're going to be searching for, how do I stop procrastinating? That's what they're going to be looking for. And if your messaging, again, is just speaking about the need, then they're gonna miss it. And you can never, ever, 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 ever really know what they need unless you ask them. So you got to get that ball rolling as well. Okay. And then the other thing that happens with that too is that when you don't have that specific audience and you're not in touch with what it is that they really need, you don't have that clarity or that trust to kind of niche it down to that level of clarity, then all they're hearing about from you is you. This is what I do. This is why I do it. This is how I do it. This is, the reasons why I do it. But it's just you. And if you notice also that if you are in this place where you take action whenever you feel like it, and you don't take action whenever you don't feel like it, guess who you're making it all about again? You. Things to be aware of, right? And people, they really just want to be confident. They want to be confident that you'll deliver. They don't care how you deliver. And that's really what they buy. They buy confidence. Nobody buys anything other than confidence. That's it. They're either buying your confidence that you can deliver, or they're buying because of their confidence that you're going to deliver, or they're buying because of their confidence that through what you deliver, they are going to get the results. That's it. And if there's a lack of confidence in your ability to deliver, or their belief in their ability to get the results that you say, there's going to be a disconnect. And you're going to hear something like this, like, wow, that sounds really awesome, but I just don't have the money for that right now. That's what you're going to hear. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to leave that conversation thinking they don't have money, when in truth, they've got money for anything that they feel will bring value into their life, period. End of story. They have the money for it. And all that says is that you haven't made a clear enough connection between how what you offer will get them what it is that they really want. That's it. Or that your confidence in yourself and your ability to deliver it, or again, their confidence in themselves. And if you're somebody who's in the coaching realm, or really any realm, this is how you can begin to be an advocate for your client. Build their belief in what's possible for them. It's a really powerful thing that you can do. Okay, so day 4 got us to clarity, right? We started that creation process. We're starting to get some clarity. And with clarity, this is really where we start to kind of tap into prosperity consciousness and start to clear out limiting beliefs that could be holding us back from receiving money, receiving clients, or even stopping us from doing things like our self-care. We can believe that taking care of ourselves is selfish and that other people will suffer because we're not tending to their needs. This is stuff that we got to clear. We got to just clear it out of the way, and we got to get clear on who it is that we are, what it is that we're doing, and who's going to benefit from us taking care of ourselves first and getting this ball rolling. I don't know why that phrase keeps coming back to me, but getting this ball rolling. So the bottom line is, in order to heal your business or your life or your relationship or whatever it is that you think is messed up and should be different, you must heal yourself first. And that's what this clarity piece was really all about for me, was to help you to get in touch with what it is within your own beingness that needs to be cleared out of the way to allow you to continue to move forward. And if you want people to give to you, if you want them to invest in you and to honor your gifts, you have to give to you. You have to invest in you, and you have to honor your gifts. I can't tell you how many people right now are sitting out there, because I really don't know, but I guarantee you there is probably 80% of entrepreneurs that want to move their business forward, that want to raise their prices, and they aren't getting people to invest in their higher prices simply because they themselves have never invested at that price point with somebody else and invested in themselves. Do you know how I know how to deliver high-end packages to my clients? Because I've been the receiver of what it's like to be delivered to from a high-end experience. Do you know how I know how to navigate and support my clients in making that decision to make a high-end investment? Because I know what it's like personally to take that leap of faith and make a high-end investment before I had the money to do it, before I had full belief in everything. I just had a conviction that I knew that this thing was going to make a difference. And it totally did. But it was the biggest leap of faith that I have taken, especially where direct financial exchanges occur. But something that I got from that high-end investment that was not even part of the program was that experience, which taught me how to deliver a high-end program so that I can, with confidence, offer a $3,000 to a $5,000 investment and know that they're going to get double, triple, quadruple, an infinite exponential amount more in return. And then I'm not going to have to worry about somebody investing $3,000 with me and then deliver to the point of like a $750 investment and have them walk away saying that was so not worth it, or ask for their money back, or not be ecstatic and sending me more referrals, right? And this is just where we got to have the skin in the game. We have to be willing to do what we ask our clients to do. And when we don't, they can sense it. And that's why they don't hire you. So take a look and see, what is it that I'm asking my clients to do? Is this something that I do myself? Be it the work that you're putting out, that you're asking for them to enroll in, or the actual thing itself, just to make that leap and make that investment. Wherever it is that you see other people aren't taking action, take a look into your own life and take a reflection. Are you doing that same thing? Or are you being held back because you are concerned about what they're going to think if you drop a high-end price on them? That will stop you from being able to attract a client, even if you really want them to. And actually, if you're holding on to that fear consciously or subconsciously, the number one rejection that you're going to get from the other side is it's too much of an investment. It costs too much. It's too much money. Sounds great, but it costs too much. I just can't do it. If you're going to get the rejections that you have, whatever it is that you give, you're going to get back. If you don't pay your bills until the last minute, you're going to get clients who don't pay their bills till the last minute. If you don't pay your bills, you're going to have clients that don't pay their bills. If you show up late for appointments, you're going to have clients that show up late for appointments. It's just what happens. So you have to get clear and understand what is happening in your life and how you have power to make some really substantial changes. And it doesn't go with changing other people. It goes with changing yourself, but you can learn from what you're experiencing and get that clarity. The other thing that I invited you to do on that day is to begin receiving anywhere and any way that you can, and begin to notice all the ways that you stop yourself from receiving. This was a huge eye-opener for me. Huge, huge, huge. You might be stopping yourself from receiving compliments. You might be stopping yourself from receiving a door held open for you. Just start to pay attention, and it's eye-opening, I'm telling you. You don't know until you do it for yourself. So the question that I offered to you was to ask yourself, where can I allow more? Where can I allow for more help? Where can I allow for more support? Where can I allow for more peace of mind? Whatever it is that you're desiring, where can I allow for more? Where can I allow for more money to come in? Do you have clients that owe you money, but you're not sending them a monthly statement? I've done that before. Most people either get on an automatic billing with me or pay me up front. So usually I don't have this problem. But every once in a while, I'll let one of you sneaky rascals come in and I'm like, okay, we'll work out something different, right? And every once in a while, somebody slips through the cracks with their regular billing. And all it takes is for me to send out some invoices, and guess what happens? I start getting money. It's a pretty interesting thing. So just, is your lack of follow through stopping you from receiving, right? This is all about self-discovery. It's all about going within, what's going on inside of you. Because it's not that you have to get yourself out of the way. It's that you have to fully immerse all of you into what it is that you're doing. And that's where the magic happens. So that old model of just get yourself out of the way, do whatever it takes, grind and run right over yourself, that's old. It's outdated. We don't like it. It doesn't feel right. We're not going to do it. We're too sensitive for that. We're not going to do it. So we have to understand that this is about fully immersing all of ourselves into what it is that we're doing and allowing all of ourselves to be expressed through our work. It can get very vulnerable, can require some transparency, but believe me, it's all worth it in the end. And you're not ever going to get to that point unless you really trust yourself. So again, just go back and go to that self-love, jump to that self-trust, and then you can end up in that confidence. Okay, so the last day of our challenge was all about confidence, and this is where we got into engaging with potential clients and making the offer. And I offer to you, you know, now that you've become your best friend, now that you become your best business partner, now that you have learned how to follow through on all that unfinished business and you've created all that space and you have identified who you want to serve, how to speak to them directly, and how to clear out all those limiting beliefs, now you have the clarity and the confidence to engage and offer your services in a way that feels amazing to both you and the person who's on the receiving end. I mean, we've all been in sales conversations that suck, that feel horrible on the pitching end and on the receiving end. But when you do this, when you take that time to connect to yourself, when you have that self-love, when you have that self-trust, when you've created that clearing, when you've cleared out those limiting beliefs, when you've gotten clear on who it is that you're talking to, I mean, really, it's a complete and total game changer. Can you see why we can't just jump into this is how you pitch offers? Because there's all that unseen stuff that lies behind it. And you wouldn't ask somebody to marry you on a first date. So why are you going to pitch your services when you first meet somebody on Facebook or standing in line at the grocery store? You've really got to think about this as a proposal for partnership, because it is. You are basically offering to them an opportunity to invest in a partnership with you, where you two work together to a certain end. So we have to think about it that way. You wouldn't just jump into bed or into business with somebody that you just met on the street. You want to have a conversation. You want to find out what it is that they really want. You want to know where it is that they want to go, what challenges are holding them back, so that you can even know if what you have to offer is something that should be brought up for discussion or not. And when you lead this way, it's a game changer on so many levels. On an energetic side of things, the person who's asking the questions is the person who holds the power. So when a potential customer is asking you, so tell me about your work. How much do you charge? How many clients do you have? How many clients do you take on? Blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever questions they have all the power. They hold it all. But when you're the one who says, whenever they say, well, how much do you charge for your work? You say, that's a really great question. I actually don't work with anybody unless I know that they're a great fit. So before we even get to that, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what challenges you feel like are holding you back. Where ultimately do you want to go? And then I'll know exactly how to let you know what my pricing is. A rookie says $197 a session. And then they say, okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. And then you're like, dang it. Is my pricing wrong? Is my message wrong? What's wrong with me, right? The only problem is that you haven't made a strong enough connection between what it is that they want and what it is that you have to offer. And if you go into your process of how you get them there, you will lose them. When you're around your peers, your colleagues, your fellow coaches, or the people who, you know, do the kind of work that you do, you can talk process all day long. Talk until you all fall asleep talking about it. But when you're in front of a potential customer, you don't talk about the how, you talk about the what. Where are you taking them? What is it going to be like afterwards? How will their life be better? Where are they going to go beyond what it is that you have to offer? That's where the magic happens. And then what happens at that point, typically, when I take somebody through that conversation, they let me know what it is that they really, really want. They let me know what their challenges are, and they can see for themselves where it is that they need support. And I say to them, you know, hey, actually, what's interesting, whenever it's a good fit, mind you, I don't make this stuff up. I only say this whenever it's a good fit. I'm all about being authentic. I can't do that. I'd rather lose a client who's not a good fit than take on a client that's not a good fit. Even if they paid me in full, even if they only showed up through half the program, even if they didn't ask for a refund in the end, even if they left thinking I'm amazing, right? Because if you take on a client that is not a good fit, they either won't give results, they won't follow through, and they almost will never refer to you. And I'd rather have one client, excuse me, let me say it this way. I'd rather have one conversation with somebody who's not a good fit and tell them you are head on the nail with exactly what you need. And as much as I would love to work with you, I can tell you, I don't think that what I have to offer is the best fit for you. That person will refer to me like crazy without ever working with me, because they're going to taste of my awesomeness just through our connectedness and just from my presence. And they will know that I am a safe person to send their friends and family to, because I am not going to talk them into making an investment that's not right for them. Game changer, right? The number one fear and area of lack of confidence for consciouspreneurs is sounding sleazy when it comes to sales conversations, or seeming like we're all about the money. I mean, this is the number one thing that's holding us back. We've got to get super duper confident with this. And what changed it all for me was this conversation, where it wasn't about pitching as it was listening. That's it. That's it. Total game changer. And now every time that I talk about what it is that I have to offer, it feels good, it feels right. And more often than not, people are like, before I even get to that point, they're like, okay, now I want you to tell me about what you do and how much do you charge? How much is it going to cost? Because I want to do this. They don't even know what I do, but they want to do it because of this process that I've taken them through. It's really, really powerful. They credit back. Whenever this happens to us, we credit the person who guided us to the answer, even if we came up with the answer ourselves in the process. That's a neat little energy thing that happens. I mean, when you listen to what they want, where they are, what their challenges are, then you will automatically know if what you have to offer them is right for them or not. And then it allows for you to make that natural, authentic connection, again, where they can self-select into your offerings, and you will never, ever, ever have to worry about leaving a sales conversation and feeling like you said the wrong thing to the wrong person, or the right person, or that you didn't say the right thing to the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? You'll think that you said something wrong or didn't say the right thing, but instead you can hang up the phone just knowing with full certainty that they weren't the right fit. But if you don't go through this process and it's just all about blah, 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 me, then it's just going to be a real challenge. Okay, so that is pretty much the overview. I want to unmute the lines. I know we got several people on the lines here, so I'm just going to unmute the lines. If you feel called to jump forward, by all means, I'm really unmuting all of you. So just jump forward, and then I'll mute out the other ones once we get somebody on the line. But I would love to hear what you're taking away, what you found benefit, any kind of aha that you really have gotten from all of this. I always like to know that what I'm saying is making sense. And if you need any clarity, if you need me to unpack anything or help to personalize anything for you, I am all yours. And I'll keep the lines open for a moment.
I don't have questions.
No? You're good, Rachel? You made it through all the videos this time, right?
I did, yeah. So I've been through the self-love twice.
Nice.
And then last night I finished up, I redid that one for this challenge. And then I've been so busy that I just watched the rest of them last night, except for the one this morning for 5.
Nice.
And yeah, there definitely were aha moments, but I don't have that page open, and I don't know.
Right. Well, do you feel like a little bit more clear to you?
Lots of ahas about, that. Yeah, and the way that each of those relate to the other, and is the foundation for the next. It just makes so much sense as a progression. And definitely, that concept, which I've already had from the previous times, but that being your own best partner, and that, if you don't follow through on things, then, and this is a weird thing for me, is that I feel like I do follow through, like, to the best of my ability, but I may not always have that forgiveness piece when I expected more from myself and wasn't able to do more. And that's better through, kind of looking at it in this perspective, but also realizing how much, because I think I lost some of those foundational things early on. Like, I love myself, and yet that concept of how you say it to yourself, yeah, I don't treat myself the way I treat everyone else I love. I'm a lot meaner to myself, you know, and even when I say things critical and I'm not totally serious, I know that that's still having an impact. And having gone through a transition where I always was very good at keeping everything before I had a kid, keeping everything in order, and the following through and all of that, and the self-trust like was more natural. And I'm realizing, oh, okay, so these are just the pieces that are missing, that sometimes I do doubt myself, and then I, you know, that self-trust aspect. Anyway, that's all.
Awesome.
I'm gonna just, I don't want to hog the time.
Awesome. No, beautiful. And you deserve the space to speak just like everybody else. So allow yourself to receive that space. I think that that's one of the top things I notice when people were like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm in your way. It's like, no, you're allowed to take up space here too. It's okay. You're allowed to.
And I was going to say, I think you're right as far as the number one thing of feeling like you don't want to be salesy or sleazy. But I think that that hits on it too, is that amazingly, of course, consciouspreneurs that are offering something to others, it is probably also one of the top things that we have the biggest problem with is receiving for ourselves. I really, at least I feel that way, and it seems like I've seen that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally agree, Rachel. Previously, self-love was taught, you know, that's part of the personal development game. Of course, self-love. I checked it off like it was a to-do list item. Like, oh, right. Got that in place, ready to keep on trucking and pooping all over myself along the way without even realizing it, right? And then when I realized, like, oh, this is like, you know, it's love in action, right? It's an action word, and it's not something that you do once. It's kind of like sit-ups. I can't remember how I explained it on the video, but it's like sit-ups. You can't do 100 sit-ups and be like, bam, got that taken care of for the rest of my life. I got rockin' abs. It doesn't happen that way. You got to do sit-ups every single day. And you got to watch how you eat every day too, by the way. Abs aren't just made in the gym. But it's that same kind of idea. You know, it would be great if we can do 5,000 push-ups and be done for the rest of our lives and just have stellar arms the rest of the time. But that's not how it works. It's a daily thing. And if you notice, just like with everything, and Rachel, I'm just going to put you back on mute here. Just like with everything in life, it's an ongoing, repeatable cycle. You wake up every day, you breathe over and over again, you blink your eyes all the time, your heart beats all the time. I mean, it happens over and over and over again. And when we can relax and just understand this isn't a one and done thing. It's a one until you do it again, until you do it again, until you do it again. With self-love, with brushing your teeth, with making dinner, with eating food, and with pitching services and putting together a marketing message and all of that. It's an ongoing, ever-evolving process just like you. So instead of freaking out like, oh my gosh, what do you mean I got to brush my teeth again? I just brushed them yesterday. No, you do it again. You come up with that new marketing message, you get more clarifying. And actually on the chat here, Sue had chatted in. She said, if I'm talking to women in midlife and talking about getting more mindful, grateful, happy, acquiring self-understanding, and getting passionate about their goals, is that the need or something else? And this is such a great question, Sue, for a number of reasons. One thing that came to me first is that I can't tell you if that's the need. Only those women can tell you if that's the need. So with this whole idea of market research, and the word market research, again, it just sounds so cliche, but we got to think about it different. We're passionate people. We love helping people. So we got to get out of ourselves and how we feel about it and what we think about it and into them. So the more that you can take time to connect to women that fall within that field and ask them, tell me more about what it is that you really want. And this is a really great tip, Sue. Always look for the benefit of the benefit. So if your work helps them to be more grateful, more happy, and acquiring self-understanding, what is the benefit of them having more happiness? What's the benefit for them acquiring more self-understanding? And when you can tap into the benefit of the benefit, then you're going to get people's attention. Because things like grateful, happy, acquiring self-understanding, yeah, those are cool. Those are cool and those are nice, and we would be interested in having those. But would we invest big in them? Maybe, but we probably would invest more easily if we knew how acquiring self-understanding was going to, especially if you're dealing with women, was going to help our friends, our family, our loved ones, our spouse, our children. We're givers. We're givers, givers, givers. And anytime that you're dealing with women and you can connect them to what it is, how that thing that you can help them get is going to help them to be of better service to other people or help other people's lives to be better, it gets us more on board. I mean, it's why we answered the call to action. We're like, oh, this is really powerfully impacting my life. If I show people how to do this, they could have better lives too. But we have to keep connecting to them, and you'll never ever know exactly what the right message is until you run it past your audience and everybody's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. And if you're not getting that response, it's not necessarily about you. It might not necessarily be about your message. It could be that you need to have more confidence behind your message, or it could just be that you need to have more clarity behind your message or talk to your audience more. So run that past your audience and start to see how excited they get whenever you start talking about how you can help them get more mindful, grateful, happy, acquiring self-understanding, and getting passionate about their goals. And if you get some murmur, that's cool. If you get some murmur, awesome. If you get some, hey, sign me up, I'll pay you $1,000 right now if you can give me that, go for it. But if you're kind of feeling like, yeah, that's cool, but not a lot of action, then dig a little bit deeper and say, let me ask you, what would being more mindful bring to your life? How would acquiring better self-understanding benefit your loved ones? How would getting more passionate about your goals make a bigger impact in this world? Then you're going to get into what it is that they really, really want. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you, Sue. And you said, I'm starting to do that, living a passionate, self-actualized life later in life. Yes, and a lot of times what it is, the work that we're supposed to be doing is going to mimic the evolution that we're undergoing in our own life. And it does help when we can identify, like when I step back and say, okay, what does doing these things, what did that bring to me? Well, it brought me more confidence, it brought me more peace of mind, and it brought me more paying clients. Now, people can get excited about confidence, they can get excited about peace of mind, but chances are they're going to invest to get more clients. And when you can touch on those things and then learn how to, weave it back around, it's just a clarifier. It just helps people make that decision because, we're walking around in a world full of people who don't trust themselves. It's not just us. And when you can help them to connect and use the words that they're using, it'll just allow them to trust their own intuition to check out what you have going on. And Galia says, is it a reflection to others? They know if you do what you say. Here, I'm going to open you up, Galia. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I really feel that when you're out in the world, seeing people and interacting with people, it's a reflection. They can tell by your aura or your presence whether you're really practicing that self-love or not.
Right.
You automatically will say something and someone else will notice whether that's a positive thing you're saying or a negative feeling you're throwing off. Even if you're standing in line at the store and you're not even saying anything. If you're standing there thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get through this line, instead of standing there maybe and smiling and thinking about how happy you are that you're able to do this right now, or you know what I mean? So those kinds of things all play into the same situation that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a reflection. And so it is so important to do that for yourself, because if you don't, people will see that you're saying these things, but it's not really happening in your own life. You know what I mean? So it's important. And yes, just like you said the other day about being honest and putting it out there, that helps them understand that you do know how to move through these issues and that you can see the result before you even get there because you've done all these steps before. So yep. That's what I was saying about it. It's a big reflection, and it is foundation. It is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
One of my mentors, thank you so much for expanding on that, Galia. I totally agree. I'm going to just meet you back out here. And then if anybody else wants to speak out before I transition to the next little part, then just type in the chat so that I know that you want to, and I'll throw it back to you before I transition over. But one of my mentors, Matthew Ferry, he calls that a rose garden with a sewer underneath. It looks real nice from afar, but when you get up close, something stinks. And that can be what happens if we have this beautiful offering of services, but we don't have the confidence. It's a rose garden with a sewer underneath. And vice versa. If we have this beautiful heart and desire to make a big difference in the world, we have that rose garden kind of blooming within us, but then we aren't quite sure how to, structure it and talk to other people, then all they get is that stinky stuff. And they're going to miss what it is that you bring to the table. And the tricky thing about all this, it's the human experience. So we only get to lay eyes on the physical, like what it seems like, what it looks like, what it appears to be, and we can judge ourselves in that same way. So on the surface, it appears like I did all the right moves, but they still said no. It must be me. Or, man, I had that desire and I could feel it inside, but I just didn't trust myself, and so it's me, right? And when we can only base stuff on that surface level, then we're left to only hold ourselves responsible or to make up some other stories about other people that may or may not be true. But when we can peel back these layers, when we can understand, okay, if I'm not taking action, I must not be confident. And if I'm not confident, what am I not confident about? Am I not confident about the work that I'm doing? No, I'm really confident. I mean, I know that I can do this work. So is it more my lack of confidence in my ability to share it with others? So yeah, that is kind of where I start to kind of go wonky. And there was that sales conversation the other day where I hung up the phone without even talking about my services because I just didn't want it to get weird, right? Then you can pinpoint what it is, and then you can just reverse engineer. Okay, if I'm lacking confidence in my ability to deliver my message, where am I sitting at with my self-trust? Where am I sitting at with my self-love? And maybe you don't have to go all the way back to self-love. Maybe you just got to take it back to self-trust. But maybe you got to take it all the way back home. But that's really what it comes down to. And I've decided that moving forward, that is all that my practice is going to be about. The 3 pillars to effortless action. And it's really the 3 pillars to anything. And of course, don't hold me to it, because I'm ever evolving, so that messaging can change. And I haven't gone through all your beautiful feedback. Thank you. I think all of you ladies gave me feedback. Thank you so much for taking that survey. I still haven't drawn a winner for that hour of my time, but I promise you I will follow through on that for you. But that's what my plan is to sit down and look through all that feedback and pinpoint, what do you really, really want? I know what y'all need. I need to know from you what it is that you really, really, really want most. One thing that I'm finding consistently is that conscious entrepreneurs, we want consistent income. Consistent income is something that we want, is something that we need. We sometimes can spike income and we can sometimes get things flowing, but it's that consistent income to really be able to relax and find our groove. I know that that's something that you definitely want. But the more that I pinpoint that down, the more I'll be able to say, these are the pillars that are going to allow that to come into your life. And those 3 pillars, I'm actually going to do a training next Thursday, the 11th, in the Biz Mom Club. So once I do that training, I'll pop it over into our group as well. I'm sure Nia will be fine with that. But it's on the 3 pillars, are the 3 pillars of effortless action. And I'll give you a little preview. It comes down to commitment, consistency, and confidence. And all 3 of those things sit on that bedrock foundation of self-love and self-trust, period. That's it. That is it. And when we can address that underlying issue, then everything else that sits on top of it will be so much more stable, so much more sturdy, and so much more viable to be able to leverage for growth. And that's what I'm really good at, is helping conscious entrepreneurs figure out the business strategy that is right for them. So I'm just switching gears from telling you what business strategy to use to helping you to connect to your intuition, helping you to facilitate your own self-healing, helping you to have all the tools to clear out all of your stuff so that you can allow your own clarity and inner wisdom to come forward so that you can know what business strategy is for you. And I can help you to implement that and make sure that it's aligned to that ultimate vision that you have, and that it's leverage for growth. Because if there's one thing I know about you, is that you're just beginning, and you're going to grow so much more, and you're going to want more in your life, and it's going to need to be leveraged so it can support that growth. And I have a gift for being able to do that. And I'm just committed to bringing it to as many conscious entrepreneurs as I can. And one of the things that I felt very called to offer and to extend to y'all today is next week on Monday in the Consciouspreneur Mastermind, which is an amazing group. I mean, it's like the Consciouspreneur Club on Happy Juice or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's the most amazing group of individuals I've ever had the honor to work with. And I'm so excited because this group is just, it's growing. I think there's 23 members in the group currently. And it's just an amazing group of committed conscious entrepreneurs that are committed to integrating all of these concepts deeply into their lives. And every month in that group, I offer, actually it's the week following this challenge, so it'll be starting on Monday, an in-depth master workshop series on a different topic where I pick it apart just like I did this Transform Fear into Confidence challenge, and I make it simple, actionable daily steps so that you can fully integrate these elusive, out there, intangible kind of concepts. January, we did it with self-love. In February, we did it with living your value. In March, we did it with unlocking your intuition. In April, we did it with manifestation mastery. And in May, starting Monday, I hadn't come up with a fancy title for it yet, but I've decided to extend the manifestation mastery and to get into the mindset of manifestation. So we're going to be talking about how to, like, manifestation mastery, the workshop that I did for April. It is the physical steps. What do you physically do with yourself while you're waiting for what you want to show up in your life? What do you physically do? Next week, I'm going to be sharing with you what's the inner game. How do you stay showing up consistently within your own internal being while you're waiting for what you want to come in? This is what makes the difference to those who can really leverage the law of attraction in their favor, and those who don't. The people who can really master manifesting and those who don't. This is the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't always get translated over out into the world when people are talking about manifesting. And that's part of what I am here to do, is to help to peel back those layers and to kind of lift that veil into that unseen side of things so that you can really understand the full picture. So I'm telling you about this because I would love to extend the opportunity to anybody who watches this video. If you would like to join me next week in the Consciouspreneur Mastermind, you can try it out all week long for $1. Whoop, whoop, $1. $1, you can stay in there for a full week. I will let you stay in there through that whole workshop series. In that group, you're going to have access to all those other workshop series that I mentioned, plus a ton of other content, tons of awesomeness. It'll give you a great chance to kind of taste what it's like in that group, to get your hands on literally thousands of dollars worth of content that I have in that group. I'm just going to open the doors. I mean, you got to put $1 in. I'm going to ask for that. You have to put that $1 in, but you have no commitment past that unless you decide that you want to stick around. And if you want to stick around, it's just $33 a month. And with that, you get a lot of awesomeness. You get that in-depth workshop every single month. You get a monthly healing, clearing, or alignment session every single month. You also get in-depth deep dive video trainings that I put in that specifically answer the questions that the group members ask me. So they're personalized trainings. And you also get discounts on all my other services. And if you really like it, you can prepay for an entire year for just $333. And then that saves you a couple of months worth of payments too. So there's a lot of options there. I just wanted to open the doors to that community, to let some more people come test it out. If it's for you, awesome, stick around. If it's not, grab whatever you want and get out. And that's cool with me too. I'm fine with it. I just thought this was a really great time to extend that offer. And why not do it when there's an in-depth workshop going on so you can get the full taste of what it's about. So I extend that to you. If you're interested, hit me up. I will make sure that you have the link so you can get signed up for that. I'm going to leave that offer up through the weekend. I might just leave it an ongoing offer, but I thought this would be a really great time to promote it because you're not just going to be sitting in there in a normal week. It's going to be a hot week. And it's a really hot topic that I think everybody needs to get their hands on. So why not? You got to show up and you got to do your part, but I'll deliver it. And Rachel, I see you got your hand up. So what you got, sweetie? Let me.
Okay. And actually, you might have just answered it. I'd seen that before, that you have it for $33 a month. Mm-hmm. And that was my question is that then monthly, or that's like with the commitment that you can do 12 months.
Yeah. So
so
right now, currently, I ask that whenever you join it, that you have the commitment for 12 months. If you're in it for a few months and you're like, you know what, Chrissy, this isn't for me. I don't like it. I'm not vibing with it. It's just really not a good fit. By no means am I going to make you continue to pay me money for something that you're finding zero value in. I mean, that's me. And right now, when this grows to another point that I'm charging like $97 a month, because it is headed in that direction and the content's there. Y'all, I can't even put into words how ridiculously low price $33 a month is. I mean, I tried to make it a no-brainer, but I know you've got to have that energetic exchange. You got to have some skin in the game, or else it just hang out in the club, because it's going to be the same exact experience for you. And I really look at that investment as a commitment to yourself. I'm part of a membership group as well. And every month, whenever that payment comes out of my banking account, I haven't always gone through all the content for the month. I haven't always been involved in the community for that month, but I'm reminded of my commitment to myself. And I keep myself plugged in to a very valuable resource that I can utilize at any time. When I shifted it from that's, X amount of dollars per month for X amount in return, into this is a monthly commitment that I am making of regularly investing in myself and keeping myself connected to some highly valuable resources. I mean, it's just, again, it's one of those game changer kind of mindsets. It just changed it all for me. So now I feel super empowered. And whenever I do have time, I sit down, I consume all the content, And I've also learned that, there's no right or wrong way. If I'm not getting to content, it's because I don't need to be looking at it right now. But whenever I do get to content, it's exactly what I needed. So that monthly commitment, it's there. And again, if you really like the concept, you can always do the prepay at $333. And there may be a point in which I say, nope, sorry, once you sign up, that's a deal. But I mean, how I feel about it is that if you don't feel like you want to do it, I don't want to force you there. And I definitely don't want to keep taking your money. So I ask for you to sign up with the intention to be there for the full 12 months. And at any time, just reach out to me if we need to renegotiate. The cool thing with that as well is that I also have another level of membership. You can be in that group and also get one-on-one sessions with me twice a month for $333 a month. So it's a discounted price than my regular one-on-one coaching. But thanks, Sue. I'm so glad that you were here, sweetie. I see that you got to hop off. It's a discounted price from my typical one-on-one coaching that I do with people. But it allows you that opportunity. You're in the group, you have a month where you're like, man, I'd really love to integrate and implement some of these concepts that Chrissy's been talking about. Just hit me up. We'll up level your membership for a month or two. You can pay that higher membership rate. You can get that one-on-one time with me, and then we can bump it back down. So, I mean, there's just lots of flexibility in it. And especially now, while I'm under 50 members, I'm really allowing myself to receive from y'all by allowing y'all to help me find my groove with this group too. So for my first 50 members, I'm going to have a lot more leniency than I do once it gets to be a bigger growing group. It's just, the nature of the beast. I'm finding my groove. You're helping me out by doing that. And I can help you out by continuing to keep it at a flexible kind of agreement. So does that make sense? I hope that was helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and mute you back out, Rachel, and I'm going to take us over to this guided meditation. I don't think we're going to cut off in time. I think we'll have time to do it all, but you can just sit back and relax. And what I'm going to do at the end of this, I'm just going to close out our session. So I thank all of you for being here. I am so glad to have so many beautiful faces on the line. I can see you since we did this through Zoom. I can see all your beautiful faces if you're on video. And it's just, it truly is my highest honor to serve and to guide you. And I just thank you for your commitment to yourself, your commitment to all the people that you're going to impact the lives of. And hey, sweetie, what a cutie, Rachel. And I just really honor you for your commitment, for being here, for showing up. And I just thank you for supporting me and championing me on. And I love those flowers, sweetie. They're so pretty. Oh, I wish you guys could see all this. Okay, so wherever you're at, if you can, just get yourself seated or standing, whatever feels right to you. I'm going to take you through this nice little journey. So standing tall, or if you're seated, just really feel your connection to the ground, to your chair, wherever you are feeling yourself physically supported at this time. And then just shift all of your consciousness into that area where you can feel that support, touching your feet, touching your bottom, just supporting you. And allow your eyes to be closed or just softly in the room. And your awareness is entirely on that contact between you and your support. And then you're going to shift your awareness down even further below where you're feeling yourself supported, further deep into the earth. So we're going to go through the floor, through the subflooring, through all the dirt, through all the various layers of sediment, past all the creatures, and finally you can extend your awareness down into the core of the earth. The molten, burning core. And breathing in, you can pull all of that energy from the earth's core back into your body. Just breathing in now. And traveling your awareness back up from the earth's core, through all those layers of various sentiment, through all the layers of earth and dirt and grass, into the foundation of the building from where you're standing, where you're sitting right now, through the subflooring, through the flooring, right back into your feet or into your bottom and your legs where you feel yourself being supported. And feel that magnetism, the magnetism of your body to the earth. And feel how grounded you really are. And breathing in, feeling this support here, knowing that the earth is always below us, always available to support and to provide unwavering strength. You can now bring your awareness back to your belly, back into your solar plexus, into your heart. And extend that awareness up through your throat, into your jaw, your eyes, your brain, and right out of the crown of your head, up through the ceiling, the roof, past the trees. Let your awareness shift all the way up to the clouds and beyond Earth's atmosphere, up into the vastness of space. And breathing in, know that all this space is available to you. This darkness, this newness, this blank area where you can create whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. We are creating our lives. We are manifesting, and we are using this space as a canvas. And in that space, you can shift your awareness to the light, to the stars, to the planets. And breathing in, you can absorb all that light, all of the energy and the qualities of those planets. Just like the moon controls the tides, the sun brings energy and gives vitamin D and light, so too do all the planets provide us with a certain energy, a very specific gift or quality that we can just breathe in. We can breathe all of that in. And then allowing our awareness and consciousness to be in space. Let's move it inside starlight, inside of a planet. And then traveling back out of that star, out of that planet, back into the blackness of space, back down through the Earth's atmosphere, through the clouds, through the ceiling, through the roof, right back into the crown of your head, and settling your consciousness again in your heart. We have the ground below us and the stars and space above us. And between these two, we have great length. We stand with dignity. We're being pulled in directions south and north and shifting our energy into the side of the body, the side of the ribs where we just created more space, down into the arms and the fingers. We can reach out to the sides and we can feel our community beside us. And we can envision our community of friends and family, neighbors and coworkers, everyone who stands beside us. This is our tribe, our village, and they're beside us, whether we've met them or not, whether they're there with us all the time or not. We are always connected. We need only reach out to the sides to give ourselves some width, admit and embrace that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to have others help us. It's okay to help each other. And breathing in and bringing the awareness back into the heart space, we know that we have great width with our community. Settling back into the body and into the back of the body. Just feeling your heels on the floor, feel your hamstrings and calves engaged, and your lower back, your ribs, your shoulder blades, just the whole back side of your body, the back of your head. You can settle into the back of the body and bring your awareness into that back space of the heart. And know that our ancestors are there, holding us up. They've got our back, supporting us in everything we do, and bringing our awareness forward into the front of the body and projecting even further, farther than our eyes can see. We have our lineage, our posterity, our children, our children's children, our children's grandchildren, our great, 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 great grandchildren, and on and on. All posterity lies before us. We do our best for them. They pull us forward. We're setting examples for them. Everything we do is under their watchful eye. And everything we do is fueled by wanting to provide something amazing and opportune for them. So with our posterity in front of us and our ancestors behind us, we have great depth. Now bringing our awareness back into this present moment, into the present body, into the heart space, the solar plexus, the third chakra. We can breathe in and know that we have great length, great width, and great depth. We are 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional beings, fully insulated on all sides, completely safe. We are always safe on the inside, even when it seems we are not safe on the outside. And we carry this safe space, this true nature, this light that cannot be extinguished. And we can tap into these resources at any time to reignite this light. I thank you for your presence during this session. I thank you for your presence in my beautiful Consciouspreneur Club community. It is always my highest honor to be your guide, your teacher, your mentor, your friend. And I just thank you and I honor the light that's within you. Namaste, and thank you for being here.